channel. I'm your host, Jay, and this is ASMR World News. This is our second episode in a new series we call What is That Mental Health Disorder? With this being the second and final episode of What is Abuse? Now that we have introductions out of the way, do enjoy today's episode. Let us begin. What are the causes of abuse? The causes of interpersonal abuse are complex and overlapping. Some of the most important factors are early learning experiences. This factor is sometimes described as the life cycle of abuse. Many abusive parents themselves were abused as children and had learned to see hurtful behavior as normal childbearing. At the other end of the life cycle, some adults who abused their elderly parents are paying back the parents for abusing them in their earlier years. Ignorance of developmental timetables. Some parents have unrealistic expectations of children in terms of appropriate age for toilet training, feeding themselves, or similar milestones, and attack their children for not meeting these expectations. Economic stress. Many caregivers cannot afford part-time daycares for their children or depend heavily on their elder parents, which would relieve some of their emotional strain. Even middle-class families can be financially stressed if they find themselves responsible for the cost of caring for an elderly parent before their own children are financially independent. Lack of social support or social resources. Caregivers who have the support of an extended family, religious group, or close friend and neighbors are less likely to lose their self under stress. Substance abuse. Alcohol and mood-altering drugs do not cause abuse directly, but they do weaken or remove a person's inhibitions against violence towards others. In addition, the cost of a drug habit often gives a substance addict more of a reason for resenting the need of the dependent person. A majority of workplace bullies are substance addicts. Mental disorders. Depression, personality disorders, dissociative disorders, and anxiety disorders all affect parents' ability to care for their children appropriately. A small percentage of abusive parents or spouses are psychotic. Belief systems. Many men still think that they have the right to a relationship with a woman, and many people regard parents' rights over children as obsolete. The role of a bystander. Research in the social sciences have shown that one factor that encourages abusers to continue their hurtful behavior is discovering that people who know about abuse or suspect the abuse are reluctant to get involved. In most cases, bystanders are afraid of possible physical, social, or legal consequences for reporting the abuse. The result is that many abusers come to see themselves as invulnerable. What are the after effects of abuse on another human being? Abuse affects all dimensions of human development and existence, physical and neurobiological effects. In addition to such direct results of trauma as broken bones or ruptured internal organs, physically abused children often display retarded physical growth and poor coordination. Malnutrition may slow the development of the brain as well as produce such dietary deficiencies, diseases such as rickets as well. In both children and adults, repeated traumas produce changes in the neurochemistry of the brain that affect memory formation. Instead of memories that are being formed in the normal way, which allow them to be modified later by experiences had in normal life. Traumatic memories are stored as chaotic fragments of emotion and sensation that are sealed off from ordinary consciousness. These traumatic memories may then erupt from time to time in the form of flashbacks, cognitive and emotional aftereffects. Abused children develop distorted patterns of cognition or knowing because they are stressed emotionally by abuse. As adults, they may suffer from cognitive distortions that make it hard for them to distinguish between normal occurrences and abnormal ones, or between important matters and relatively trivial ones. They may often misinterpret other people's behavior and refuse to trust them. Emotional distortions may include such patterns as being unable to handle strong feelings or being unusually tolerant of behavior that others, or most people, would protest against. Social and educational after effects. The cognitive and emotional after effects of abuse have a powerful impact on adult education, social, and occupational functioning. Children who are abused are often in physical and emotional pain at school. They cannot concentrate on schoolwork and consequently fall behind in their grades. They often find it hard to make or keep friends and may be victimized by bullies or become bullies themselves. In adult life, abuse survivors are at risk of repeating childhood patterns through forming relationships with abusive spouses, employers, or professionals. Even though a survivor may consciously want to avoid re-abuse, the individual is often unconsciously attracted to people who remind him or her of the family of origin. Abused adults are also likely to fail to complete their education, or they accept employment that is significantly below their actual level of ability. What are the treatments of abuse? Treatment to the after effects of abuse must be tailored to the needs of the specific individual, but usually involve a wide variety of long-term considerations that may include legal concerns, geographical relocation and housing or employment, as well as immediate medical or psychiatric care. And now we get to the most important part of abuse. It's prevention. Prevention of abuse requires long-term social changes in attitudes towards violence, gender roles, and the relationship of family to other institutions. Research in the structure and friction of the brain may help develop more effective treatments for the after effects of abuse and possibly new approaches to help break the intergenerational cycle of abuse. At present, preventative measures include protective removal of children or elders from abusive households, legal penalties for abusive spouses and professionals, and educating the public about the nature and causes of abuse. Now we have reached the ending of our two-part series of What is Abuse? Thank you for tuning in to ASMR World News. We very much appreciate your time and the knowledge we hope that you are able to gain from this series. If you like and you have something to share, please do leave a comment below. If you like the content that we are creating, please leave a like, as it does instruct us, or rather me, that you are enjoying what I have been creating over the past few days. The like also lets YouTube know that what I am creating is not complete rubbish. And finally, if you enjoy the content that I am creating here at ASMR World News, do subscribe to the channel, as it allows this small channel to grow and hopefully one day reach audiences across the world. Thank you very much for tuning in to this two-part series of What is Abuse, and have a very merry morning after evening. This is Jay signing off.